Welcome back to another episode of the Weekly Dweeb. With me today is my co-host Kev and our good friend Nate. Nate, how are we doing today, buddy? It's your first time on the show. Oh, we got a special guest visitor here too.
Yeah, my cat Santo, he's being real annoying, so he gets to be forced to do weird dance moves here. So
until he gets so annoyed with you that then he bounces out. Then he's like, "I'm done with this shit." Oh, didn't make it 3 minutes. Failed, boys.
Oh, well, shout out to
Complete
Santo.
failure.
We were the 4 horsemen of the nuke apocalypse right there for a brief moment.
Oh,
gentlemen.
nice.
well, hey, I just put him on the ground, but he'll probably jump up here in a second again anyway.
Oh yeah, he's gonna keep popping in and out. Kev, how are you today, my friend?
I am doing just fine, brother. I'm very excited to talk about this again. I did a little refreshing with my free time, watched a couple of videos again, listened to some things. So I'm pumped, man. How are you doing?
Not too bad. I'm a little worried you spent Mother's Day researching Fallout. I can't imagine your mom was too happy with that.
Oh yeah. Well, she had to watch too. We had the core.
She had to do it with. She had to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. She's really, really big fan of the NCR, which I don't know if that's good or bad for me. Better than Legion.
She's a new California Republic person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She said old Leggett can. Oh, we're still not at 3 minutes in. I'll tell you later what she said about the Legion.
We after I can tell you after a week of research, I am still absolutely not an expert. Not there yet. However,
well, it takes about a week in like our time, like in hours, just like,
like
to
50 hours minimums.
Yeah. So I think
like 150
still
hours.
Some slack. Yeah, probably like 100 hours to do it.
God,
right. Maybe.
Oh, I did 7 times 7. God, math isn't my strong suit either. Woof. Struggle City. Struggle City. But Nate is an expert, correct?
I like to think so, at least more specifically New Vegas related stuff here.
Okay.
So, obviously it doesn't get touched on too much, but I imagine now that they have a second season, I wouldn't be surprised to see a little more New Vegas involvement here.
Sure looks that way. So let's start there, Nate. Let's go. Your thoughts, season 1, and or your history with the game, because I am a very well-known, I don't know shit about it, never played it. I've watched a few people play it, and now I've watched a couple of videos and read a few articles, so I'm like on the XP scale, like level 2, where last week I was 0.
So yeah, I randomly, it was on sale in some store, I don't really remember what New Vegas was, so I picked that up, and I'm not usually, RPG first person shooter, although that's not really what this is, type of game, mostly just sports games, racing games.
Mm-hmm.
But just the whole aspect of the apocalyptic Southwest, and I've played through that game probably 6, 7, 8 times, and it doesn't get boring. You can do different things every single time. There's just a lot of great gameplay to it, and normally I'm not big on like video game adaptions because I've never seen the Halo series.
Don't waste your time. Shout out X-Man, appreciate you. Yeah, don't watch Halo. I refuse to. I'm a mega Halo gamer, and the show is shit.
Didn't they do Assassin's Creed 2 or something like that?
Yeah, Assassin's Creed movie was junk. Now it's gotten better. Like Last of Us is excellent. Like it's turning, but there's been some really, really bad ones.
So yeah, but like most of my history is New Vegas. I did play 4 a little bit and 3. Wasn't super as into 3 just because that type of game for me was more the Southwest, like fit that vibe better. If you're going for apocalyptic world, I mean, like just look at movies like the Book of Eli, and that's the type of vibe that I think I really enjoy.
Also, with the layout, just to jump in there and agree with you for a second, Nate, because we have very similar feelings about this. New Vegas is my favorite, hands down, still to this day, my favorite one to play. And another thing about 3 that I didn't like as much is it's not an open world as much as it is, right? You can go do kind of whatever you want. A lot of the Capital Wasteland is sectioned off at times. It's kind of like the labyrinth behind the Overlook. It's just sort of like it's not an open world. Whereas in Vegas, there are death claws and stuff. There are things there to keep you from just like cutting to the end game immediately. Like, but theoretically, landscape wise, you kind of go off in any direction. And
you guys said
the game
you could
better.
technically run right to New Vegas. You just wouldn't survive, correct? With the death claws, you just get mowed down.
Yeah,
you mod it or something.
Yeah, you could immediately head that way, but good luck with death claws and cazadors, and just all sorts of wonderful things like that. So, but yeah, Kevin's right.
They send an NPC out at one point and say, "Hey, just don't go there. You're gonna die." They're like, "One last chance. If you keep walking this way, you will die."
But won't the mysterious stranger save you? Because isn't he? That's his job. He's the best.
Oh, even he can't get you out of that.
I meant to watch videos of him. I forgot, so I'm going to be doing that during the show. All right, so you definitely have more knowledge than I do. Not even close. Not even remotely close. So, what was your take? What did you think of this season of the show? Like, I went into it, as I said a billion times, I didn't know shit about shit, and absolutely loved the show for how weird it was.
Yeah, it was honestly a lot more weird than I was anticipating it to be. I mean, just some adult toilet humor in there that wasn't like honestly super out of place, in my opinion. Just as gruesome, if not more gruesome, as the video games, especially if you get the I want to say wild, it's like Wild Westland or Wild. I forget the exact name of it in New Vegas, but like your kills will be way more gruesome.
Oh yeah, like the gore perks.
Yeah. So I think it was well put together. I got to say, I'm very, very high on Walton Goggins' portrayal.
He's awesome.
Of the ghoul. That was absolutely fantastic, and it's just interesting with some of the flashbacks in there, just to see how, I don't want to call him getting radicalized, but I guess that would kind of fit along those lines throughout the series. So fantastic all around. Honestly, I can't say I have any complaints really. I mean, I've seen, I'm sure we'll dive into it. I've seen some things, fan theories, complaints, especially like dealing with Shady Sands. But overall, I don't really have any complaints.
So I think we mentioned this last time we talked about the games and the games not being canon. I think we said that that's actually wrong. And I don't know if you saw this, Kev, when you were doing your research. The games are canon. There's no specific endings that are, or I say that in quotations. They're hinted at stuff, specifically with New Vegas looking like it's exploded at the end of the show, and the airship being a very specific one that means something to you guys and nothing to me.
And Mr. House, I think that's too
Mr.
iconic
House.
of a character to go with the game ending and have him not be there. And I also think if they were going to do that, they might not have bothered to put him in the flashback. I think there's a reason he was prominent, and we know, and those that maybe don't know as well, like he was very close to Vault-Tec, and I think that by having him in that little flashback scene, it very quickly establishes that. So I do think that's going to be someone that's going to be around, and I did see that. It's interesting. It's kind of cool because it allows for so many of the little optional side quests and stuff to be in the canon, while also not really allowing any a lot of the stuff that your main characters probably do. Probably, so a lot of the stuff that you specifically as a character do in the video games probably won't be a canon, but it's just, If anything, I just want to say about that, I think that was the right move. I enjoy that. Like, kind of take what you want from the games and use it as you see fit, and don't feel there are too many good characters that in the games aren't here by this point, that if you have a way to ride around that and it makes sense with I'm fine with it. So it can be a bit of a slippery slope, but
yeah, so I lost my train of thought there as I was typing something. Yeah, Mr. House is going to be a major part of, I would assume, a major part of season 2, right, Nate? Wouldn't you think so, with him being actively shown?
Yeah, I mean, I just think majority of the season is probably going to be based around some sort of New Vegas storylines in some form or fashion. I mean, I know I've seen some people say, like, just with how things have gone. But I actually think also we're going to have a lot of Brotherhood versus NCR stuff potentially moving forward. So that'll be really interesting to see as well.
do you think there will be an NCR? Because I think that, just to kind of theorize a little bit, I think that'll be a lot more of what we end up diving into tonight, maybe more so than we did last week. But so NCR was Shady Sands, wasn't it? And then in the final sort of cut scene exit credits, they were showing some footage of New Vegas, and it had NCR vertibirds downed and stuff. So I'm wondering if Vegas is destroyed, what we might get, Nate, is exactly what you're talking about, but like that'll be the flashbacks for this season. I don't know if it'll be like actively in season 2, it'll be those two fighting, because it was odd. They had those lead farmers. Remember, they were wearing, and that dude and his kid, the one that ultimately the ghoul shot, they were wearing NCR armor to go out and farm. So I wonder if the NCR isn't just some sort of small band of essentially raiders at this point. I wonder if they even are really a government at this point in the story.
Well, look, it sounds like they got, I can't zoom this in any farther. It's a really crappy picture of exploded New Vegas. But yeah, I mean,
Oh,
I'll put it back in a little bit better. It's tough to see. It sounds like, I mean, Shady Sands went kaboom, and that essentially was the California New Republic, or New Republic of California, right? I said that backwards again.
I mean,
level one, farther down.
I mean, that just because in my opinion, just because the capital is bombarded and destroyed, I don't necessarily think that means, they're wiped off the map. I mean, I definitely think it's not gonna, be exactly how it is. Although NCR is kind of useless in New Vegas at times anyway. I don't,
damn right.
I don't think they're gonna necessarily have like a strong presence and sort of be a superpower necessarily, but again, we'll see.
I read a lot, and again, this can be a lot of theorizing during the show, that there's a lot of theories that people think Mr. House and whatever her dad's name is, Mr. House is going to recruit him to try to rebuild New Vegas in season 2.
Ooh, Mr. House and Hank. What was
Hank,
it? McClane?
Yeah, Hank McClane, yeah. Not to be confused with McClane from the Die Hard series.
Yeah,
maybe.
Significantly. Although, yeah, the way Lucy runs around, she might be great granddaughter of John
Christmas
McClane.
movie or not, Kev?
Oh, all day. The best
Christmas movie. Die Hard is the best Christmas movie. Okay, deal. So yeah, there was I saw a lot of theorizing on that. How that could be a storyline, and then they explained kind of what happened to it a little bit.
Yeah, so I guess briefly, I think anybody here probably knows this one very well, but as far as the Fallout New Vegas plot goes, Mr. House in the game is essentially runs it, and you have this army of automatrons that you can go and get, this giant You got Yes Man and all. Nate? What's the actual name for his robots? I'm drawing a blank. The Securitron, is it Securitron?
Yeah,
Okay.
Securitron.
Yeah, so he's got this just undefeatable army of robots that he can go and conquer, and then you essentially, as the courier, end up making the decision at the Battle of the Hoover Dam, whether it's going to be the NCR, the Legion, is Mr. House going to take over Vegas himself? So it would be the infrastructure would be there for him to take it back over. What were you saying, Nate?
I was gonna say, or you could take it over yourself. This might be I'm gonna, if you don't mind, I that photo you shared earlier.
Go for it.
Let's see if I can pull this up here.
So this was the big bad, huh? These were Mr. House's minions.
Yeah, those homies. Oh, okay. Now you got the here. Let me switch it back to that. You can see a little better.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, it looks like kind of destroyed, but at the same time, like if you've ever played the video game, there was only a couple of those buildings that were like really even that pristine. I mean, where Mr. House is right here, I mean, this place still looks fantastic. And the only other building that was even like feasible where like you wouldn't know that it had been bombed out or anything was I want to say the Ultra Lux, which I can't necessarily tell from just this photo
I think this photo could be a little bit of a misdirection then.
Yeah, and Nate,
I don't necessarily think it's go ahead.
Along that line of thought, I wanted to ask you, do you think it could be that Mr. House just took out his competition? There's at a certain point, maybe there's no need to have all those casinos. He can just less space to manage. If there are fewer people around, he can just run his one big casino. So maybe that carnage is him cleaning house, and maybe it doesn't need to be rebuilt. Maybe he's just going there to talk to his boss. Any thoughts on that?
I mean, that's possible that they could go with that. For the life of me, and I could not find it after I saw it. I saw something like some of the writers or like I guess in terms of the show, like New Vegas was kind of ostracized comparatively. I'm not really sure where I saw that or exactly what it said, but I mean, maybe there's some butting heads in between Obsidian and Bethesda and things like that. I don't know.
No way.
Well, that's so New Vegas was not made by Bethesda, right?
Correct. Yep.
Correct.
So so Obsidian did, and you guys have said they're not necessarily bad blood. It's not the right word, but a little bit of, I don't know, jealousy, a better word, because New Vegas is arguably a lot of people's favorite game, right?
I think so. I know Nate and I aren't alone in that. Now, some of the newer fans that maybe so Nate and I started in what I would call like the second generation of Fallout, because you didn't
play the top-down 1 and 2.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't play the PC games in the 90s, and so that it's either So for instance, Lou, shout out to Lou, our fellow dweeb out here on the channel. He prefers 3. 3 is his favorite. He is one of the people that I know that he loves that one. I think he just prefers the story and some of the flashbacks you get with like the American war with China and all that stuff. So when you have the DLC, you get to go. I think it's just in the DLC. You go back in time and you get to fight a war scene where everybody's in battle armor. And I could be like, I can understand people liking that, but I think maybe the newer generations that started at Fallout 4, much like the second generation went from a top-down like RPG click mouse game to a first-person shooter with VATS. It really turned into a true first-person shooter by Fallout 4. Like it really wasn't. There wasn't much of the role-playing aspect anymore. You don't even believe you had to repair your weapons, and you still had to repair power armor, but you no longer had to monitor the condition of your weapons and stuff. So it just kind of got stripped down a little bit. But if that's what brought you in and you were just a first person shooter, I could see 4 being a lot of people's favorites. I've never heard anyone claim 76 to be their favorite. But I do hear it's having a bit of a No Man's Sky run now.
Oh, you just reminded me of a tweet I have to find. Okay, so you made a 76 reference, and I didn't even think of this. I'm gonna find it. Bring it up. Yeah, so you brought up Fallout 76. The player count is through the roof right now.
Yeah, I think it's in a great position because most people hated the game when it came out. There were nothing but controversies. It didn't play terribly well. A lot of the NPCs just had nothing to them. Anybody who bought the special edition was told they'd be given some kind of nice canvas bag, and it turned out to be this cheap, thin plastic little duffel job, and everybody hated the game. There was no physical disc, so if you could buy a plastic box that was wrapped in plastic that just had a cardboard disc with a digital code on it. So it was just L after L after L with this game. And much like other games have in the past, I referenced No Man's Sky before, over time with updates, audience feedback, it's gotten better. And so now there's this whole group of Fallout fans who have this new content who are like, oh, there's no new Fallout game out, but I guess I could try 76. Like, I hear it doesn't suck anymore. I guess I'll try it.
Kind of sounds
one of those.
Kind of sounds cyberpunky to me when Cyberpunk came out, and it was absolutely a fucking horrible game. And like 2 years later, it's now fantastic. But the initial release of it was just absolutely horrific.
That's another good.
That's kind of similar. Kind of similar, yeah. I don't know if you guys saw this. So, and I'm going to show a second follow-up tweet here, but this says Xbox fans have nuked head of Xbox. Phil Spencer's Fallout 76 base is an act of revolt. What up, Pest? After the announcement of the Bethesda, all the studios got closed down, and that the Microsoft deal last week, all the video games, Tango Rush chief among them, but somebody went up and then nuked Phil Spencer's camp, and then there's more to it. The guy who did it, wasn't in reference to the studio closings, but he's like, he was the final boss in my eyes. In an RPG, I prefer to be the bad guy. So he fucking just blew his camp up. And then there's a video too.
Invite to trade. Nate, have you played this one yet? If someone nukes your camp, can you get out of the way? Are you just screwed here?
I have not played this one yet, to be honest. I didn't hear very good things about it, and I never put in the effort to get it. So
here's his camp burning.
I will say today I saw the funniest meme today, and I can't remember where I saw it exactly, but somebody overlaid Mr. House on the Las Vegas Sphere.
Yes, I want that. Yeah.
Oh, that mirror thing is wild, by the way. Yeah, so this is his camp just torched.
I'm gonna be playing this game soon.
What's it on?
Gotta figure it out. You probably should have it on the old PS5. I know it launched on the 4. It launched on the last generation, so PS4, Xbox One.
Interesting. There was also another tweet that said Phil Spencer finally he completed the quest to drop nukes, so he might be out for revenge now too.
Oh,
so mania going on.
Man, maybe I'll wait a couple days.
World. He might be just dropping the hammer on everybody.
I'm just gonna do a New Vegas playthrough instead. It's been too long.
Okay, let's go. Let's see, topics that we had. I want to go to. Let's have a fun one right out the gate. We're almost 30 minutes into this, but you know how this is. Kev has a theory on our boy the idiot savant perk. So you think Maximus has the idiot savant perk?
I do.
Somebody that has never played the games, I had to look this up. So you're now going to explain it and see if I understand it correctly.
Yeah, so I've seen some theories that obviously Maximus may have a high luck skill. So James, are you familiar with the special system? I can probably just lay it out real quickly anyway. So,
I think once you say it, maybe. But
It's what strength, perception,
Okay.
endurance, charisma,
basic RPG
intelligence.
things, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are your 7 points, and luck is the last one.
Yep.
And obviously, it just does little things like makes it easier to pick locks.
Yep.
You might
Mhm.
randomly find more stuff out there. And so a lot of people are saying Maximus maybe has a high luck skill, but what I'm thinking is that he may have the idiot savant perk, which is kind of random. It's something that gives you different dialogue options. Sometimes you can have unique ways to solve quests that other playthroughs you wouldn't have if you don't. But in general, it's just sort of you randomly get some XP in the middle of doing something, and there's a little laughing emotion. It's just the little vault boy chuckling and going through. But the reason I think Maximus has the idiot savant perk is he's a little too dumb even for being
Mhm.
in this setting, but still manages, in that shootout to only get grazed. He somehow manages to survive a situation where he gets locked into a power suit and covered by rad roaches. Like, yeah, he definitely got a high luck meter, but I think he's an idiot savant because while we know the Brotherhood is a little bit weird, they're out there going after old world technology, right? So it stands to reason that the Brotherhood has some kind of knowledge of history. What kind of grown man doesn't know how his penis works
It's like a
when he's
pimple.
right? Exactly. It's like, dude, you guys are out there, they're having you grab toasters. They know things. Like, they never had you grab a book. Nobody in there, not a single person in the Brotherhood found a science book. None of those computers that you've gone and raided from the wasteland
They
have taught you
never.
anything about life.
No, there weren't any circle jerks or anything.
Right? Yeah, come on. That's why they're always kicking the shit out of each other. Just no explains a lot then if they're all that wound up, dude.
Yeah, they're just all wound up.
That's why they're out here just sending people out to die for toaster ovens. It's wild. But Nate, you're familiar with the perk. I don't know if you use it in the game or not, but what do you think? Is Maximus too stupid for his own good?
I would agree with that. I never used that perk, and the perk I was talking about earlier was Bloody Mess. I don't know why I
Bloody
completely.
mess.
That one's a lot of fun, but yeah, no, I can be in agreement there. He definitely can fall under that for a perk. Just I mean, whether it was purposeful to make him seem really stupid, which is funny because to me, the whole back half of the show, especially when him and Lucy are together there, it seems like for being in the vault, you would think Lucy would qualify for that more. Not ever having any knowledge of anything. Um, it's just really interesting where they went with the writing there. I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you there, Kev.
She knew all about sperm count, though. If there was one thing they knew about in that vault, apparently it was how to procreate. Very important there. And that make different kinds of corn, which, hey, I know what vault I'm signing up for.
Did you catch the Nebraska corn reference? It's early in the series when they're talking about the corn they're showing on the video board. They reference that it's from Nebraska.
I'm sure Nate didn't,
Iowa.
because he has those words banned on his television. It's censored.
Yeah, it just blacked out. The whole screen just went black.
Yeah, any Big Ten rivals is just not existent. But
It
no, I
literally
missed that.
It just blacked out and says "fuck James Schmeitz."
Well, that's the reason the other vault there, they completely withered and died. They had to deal with Nebraska corn.
No, they had bad corn. They had Iowa's corn over there. That fucking shit went south.
It's no Indiana corn though.
Oh, get the fuck out of here with that trash.
I can't wait for our agriculture podcast.
So there's someday on dDweeb. So in Fallout Shelter, I know we don't ever talk about that game. I don't know anything about it. It's not really that important. However, they did add 4 characters into that game with their stats, and they said these stats are canon to the show. So I'm going to read you Maximus's stats. So they put out Lucy's, the Ghoul, Maximus, and Ma June. Ma June is the dealer from episode like 1 or 2 that pulls out the fake leg to put on the guy.
Oh, right.
The
Okay.
old lady.
Mm-hmm.
So here's Maximus.
1,000 caps for the son of a bitch that can kill the ghoul, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah. Which I want to talk about bottle caps too at some point. Don't let me forget that. Maximus's stats: strength 7, perception 6, endurance 6, charisma 5, intelligence 4,
Whoa.
agility 7, luck 5.
That was Maximus?
That was Maximus. Yep.
At 4 is high for intelligence.
Maybe they're just being nice to him.
I feel like a new Madden just dropped, and I'm critiquing the rating. I don't know about that, but what about that, partner?
Yeah. No, they didn't have a Brotherhood of Steel fan doing the ratings. They had like the Enclave or Caesar's person doing the ratings, just like the Cowboys.
It was the Institute or probably the Minutemen. They just had one guy, just Preston, out here telling stories.
Gotta go over there.
Oh, okay.
I'm pulling them up here. Then you got Lucy, strength 4, perception 7, endurance 6, charisma 5, intelligence 6 seems high too there. Agility 5 seems low, and then luck 7. She's got a lot of luck on her side.
That's fair. Okay. She's okay. Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
Ghoul 5, 6, 7, 7, 4, 7, 4. Anything that stands out there?
He's got horrible luck, and I think the intelligence is low.
I thought the intelligence was low on him too. I don't find him. I mean, I guess when he's Cooper, he does come off quite aloof, but I would think the battle-hardened Ghoul over 200 years would change a little bit.
Yeah,
I would say the perception needs to be higher too, personally.
What's perception? Which one's that?
6, right? If I'm reading that right.
Yeah, no. What's that in game? What's that do?
Oh, it's kind of along the lines you're able to see, like what I get out of it mostly is like on the map, you're able to see like enemies that are farther away sooner, in the little screen there. Or if you do VATS, you'll be able to see them better. But that's kind of what I get out of it. But I just I don't know how I'm trying to explain this here, but I just feel that needs to be higher.
Needs to be higher. Got it. Done. Ma June, which is a character we don't spend much time with, so I found that kind of interesting that she was the 4th when we announced. 5, 7, 5, 7, 6, 4. I can see the strength. Yeah, I can see that. She's tough as nails. I do notice that nobody has anything above a 7, so nobody's elite at anything, right? I assume this is a 1 to 10 scale, or 1 to 10 scale.
I believe, I'll be honest with you, it's been about a year since I've played Fallout Shelter, so I don't remember if 7 might be the max. It's stands to reason that it'd be 10, but
I wouldn't have a clue. I had 2 different ones pulled up, and I don't think either of them showed that.
I don't know. Do you either of you guys play the Shelter games? I just don't play any mobile games anymore.
I'm not I just have this like a refuse. I just refuse to play mobile games.
Yeah, they all feel like they're, of course, just designed to eat up so much time, and I feel like I spend enough time on my phone. So,
I stare at my screen way too much as it is.
If I'm going on a vacation, I might find a couple to download for about that week, and then I usually delete them when I get home. What about you, Nate? You play mobile games?
I mean, like pool. There's Retro Bowl, which I play sometimes. And I guess the Call of Duty, but like the Call of Duty one seems kind of stupid because I feel like they want to get people to spend money.
I found it. It's 1 in 10, so it is a 10 scale.
So nobody,
character creation. So nobody's super elite.
You can level up here by putting different outfits on people and doing. There are different things you can do for the characters to max some out. But that'll be interesting. Not quite enough to get me to play it again, though.
No,
folks.
I'm not gonna
too big of a time eater.
I did find a really funny quote that I just want to read. It's talking about the ghoul. The ghoul, on the other hand, is definitely not a lucky guy. He's spent 219 years in the wasteland feasting on butt jerky. Not sure if we want that life.
Yeah,
A little
well,
butt jerky. That's
you're
from
right, you're
Nerdist.
right. Quite a good point there.
Okay, next up, something we didn't talk about last week, and I found while doing my research. And where the fuck is this tab? I've got 6 billion tabs open. You know, so I'm trying to get like a 2 on intelligence. Are any characters synths? So we didn't talk about synths at all last week. And in my deep dive, that's what I came across. So my question to you guys is, where the hell is this tab that I had that up?
Well, I can't answer that one, but the synths one.
Think? Well, let's talk. Kev, you explain to me. You guys explain to me what a synth is. Make sure I'm on the right track. And then, do we think anybody is a synth?
Have you ever seen Blade Runner? Because if so, there you go. So a synth is like one of the androids that Decker gets sent down to
kill,
neutralize. And there's our boy Nick Valentine, the dog. There are several different synths. There, obviously, with Nick here, he's a little more obvious, but the higher up, top tier synths are.
You can't tell the difference, right? Like,
you can't.
Yeah, just look like us. Could be me.
Exactly, and okay. In fact, spoilers for Fallout 4: people are getting replaced by synths in the. Ooh, I thought you said simp. Yes, dude. Shout out again to Pest. So Nate, with that in mind, are there any androids that you think are in the show?
It wouldn't surprise me if Betty Pearson was a synth, to be honest with you. Just you know, kind of mannerisms kind of make me lead to believe, like, you know, like there's some capacity for some you know, some understanding and emotions there, but just the way Betty Pearson is in the show, it's just same goal, move forward no matter what sort of vibe to her. But that's just what I get out of the show. That would be my number one person I would think would be a synth.
I've got one to throw out there as well, and this may end up segueing into our next topic inadvertently, James, but mine is Moldaver. I think one of the 4 or 5 possible answers to the question, how the hell is she still alive if she's not a ghoul, could be that that's just a uploaded version of her brain. Maybe she's been cloned will be one I think we'll probably end up throwing out, but maybe she's a synth. She would have worked with a company that would have had that type of knowledge, I would think. I mean, she essentially invented the fusion core or whatever that, not the fusion core, but whatever that cold fusion.
Yeah, cold fusion,
yeah. So it stands to reason that she's pretty smart and hypothetically could have found a way to upload her consciousness into a synthetic being and is now just running around as a robot version of herself. So that, to me, I like Nate's, but that one's an option too.
She's hinted at that she's in season 2, that she's coming back. Like, not outright said it, but like when asked about it, she kind of beats around the bush type question, which would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, she could also, to play devil's advocate, she could just, there's probably going to be a lot of flashbacks still going in future seasons. So we might just see her in past timelines. So I'm pretty sure she'll come back no matter what. But yeah, I don't know. James, were there any that you had that you were like, I think this person might be a robot?
I think Moldaver is the obvious one, and maybe too obvious. And there's some pictures on this tweet of other people, if it'll change. The comment over here says, if Maximus is not a synth, then I'm a toaster. I don't think Maximus is. I think he's just too aloof. He doesn't come off as a synth to me. Does anybody believe he is?
No, not really.
See, I don't think so either.
I don't. It would be a probably. I almost said it would be a cool parallel. It would be a parallel to Fallout 4 that might get ruined. Another spoiler for that game.
Mm-hmm.
The whole dance storyline where you have this knight of the Brotherhood of Steel that becomes your ally. You do a bunch of missions with, and then at the end of it all, the Brotherhood finds out that he's a synth and he has to be put down. And just so this whole debate, internal discussion or conflict about that, it would be cool, but not with this character. Like hypothetically, having an android work in the Brotherhood of Steel and be able to do that on a show and not just through a bunch of different quests throughout the game. I like that for somebody else. Can't be this dude. It can't be I don't want to be the idiot savant android. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't like it.
He's too dumb to be I think if he were, maybe it's the perfect crime though. Maybe he's just dumb enough to pass. Like as I'm talking, I'm
trick
thinking,
everybody.
It's like a Trojan horse situation. Nobody would think he could be a robot because he's too dumb. He's always hitting his head on stuff. But maybe that's what they want us to think. I don't know.
Maybe it's too obvious, and that's the reason.
Give me a maybe.
Who else we got here? We've got Hank pretty much ruled out. He was frozen. Or maybe not. I mean, he's been around forever. Who knows? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I think that
all those Vault Tech guys are all frozen. They're all they're all
buds.
Yeah, it's none of them. And then the last one they have here is Lucy, and I also don't think she's one either.
No.
Same boat here.
So those are the four main ones. I don't know even who else you could. Let me scroll through some stuff here and see if I see anybody. Moldaver's the most obvious one. Maybe you could. Obviously, there's going to be new characters coming, so maybe they introduce that in season 2.
Yeah, that's true. Because outside of who did you say Pearson in the vault? Maybe that could be one. But wasn't she also part of the? But like, wasn't she Bud's secretary or something in the flash? Don't we see a young Pearson in the flashback at some point? But that doesn't discredit it because it could be taking the same route Moldaver took. But I think if we're gonna get that, we're gonna get it later. But
maybe it's too much for season 1.
That was a Boston thing. That's
also a thing. It was an East thing.
That's an East Coast Fallout thing. So I would feel no need to rush into having that included. If anything, I think it could be maybe an end of season 2 spoiler, much in the way we're looking at Fallout New Vegas to end season 1. Maybe at the very end of season 2, one of the bad guys or a good guy, somebody dies and they find out it was actually a robot. And then it's like, oh, we got to go to Boston. And they're like, oh shit, Season 3 is going to be in Diamond City, dude, in the Institute. Fuck yeah, the Minutemen. Wasting all my time building settlements. I'm trying to just beat this game, and everybody's starving or dying of thirst. They got bandits running around. It's like, dude, I just want to play the game. Quit making me build all these settlements, Preston, you bum. Get your ass up and do it yourself, Preston. Goddamn. Sorry.
Some more stuff. Kev on a rant. You just let him go. And then when he's done, then you start talking again. Another question I have is, who do you guys think dropped the nukes first? Who dropped the first ones? Because it's hinted at. I mean, it's talked. There's a China theory. It's hinted that Vault Tech may have done it to get moving so that their vaults weren't declared obsolete and just a waste of $1 bazillion, and then they were all fucked. for lack of a better term.
I like to like to put in that Vault-Tec pulling some strings behind the scenes there. Just like you mentioned about obsolete vaults, just to kind of make sure that their investment maintained itself pretty well. So I like to hop on that board of Vault-Tec pulling some strings somehow.
Yeah, it was either Vault-Tec or something that rhymes with GIK that I would never say. Would never even in a fictional world, I won't accuse any of our wonderful alphabet agencies of any types of shenanigans, because I don't want to get put on a list because of something I said about what happened in a
blacklisted.
Fallout game. All right, I'm talking about Fallout.
Aren't you already on a list though? Like, aren't you?
Damn it. Yeah, but these guys don't know that. Nate.
He's
These
definitely on the
guys,
list.
this is a video game show. These guys don't know that yet. Like and subscribe. Thank you. No, I think it was most likely that it was Vault-Tec. I think that's where they're pointing us to, with him going all
So I'm reading.
pink
I got an
on us.
article pulled up on IGN, and the contradiction or the reason somebody pointed out against it is that if Vault-Tec started the war by dropping the first bomb, wouldn't Barb, who was Cooper's wife, been privy to that information, ensured that Cooper and their daughter were in a vault when that happened? Because they're at a birthday party when that happens.
But my whole thought on this is that Cooper's working that birthday party because he needs money. They say it. Remember, the one guy calls him a pinky, and the other guy's
he's fallen off the map. Yeah,
he took my money.
He's lost his luster.
Why would a even retired actor, he was one of the biggest actors in the world, why would he need that job at all? The only reason I could think of is alimony, divorce.
So hot take.
I think that
bad marriage fell through.
That's why they're out there when it happens. And maybe we'll come to find out, perhaps she was trying to get her daughter back in time. But maybe it was something like this. If you're going to pull this kind of a string behind the scenes, I don't think there's going to be a lot of time to get a warning message out. It's going to happen pretty quickly. So even someone like her, she may not have been able.
It's not something that can be known by too many people.
Yeah. So at that point, may have just been, well, he's out there. I got to get him. Got to go get my daughter back. But that's sort of my thought on it, guys. I think that's why it still could be possible that it's Vault-Tec, but that's, I don't know. I'm leaning that it's Vault-Tec. My other guess would be, unfortunately, that it would be the Commonwealth. There we go. I found a way I can say it without making it sound like I'm accusing our wonderful American government of anything, because I would never do such a thing. But it's possible that the Commonwealth did this as a way to I don't know. Would they go all Ozymandias and fake Dr. Manhattan themselves in the name of selling? I think Vault-Tec would. Maybe the Enclave might have too, though. They're there at that point.
Here's a Reddit theory. This is Corpulentus Maximus 2, 23 days ago. He says, sounds weird given the fact that the show states that Vault-Tec did it, but he's like, it actually wasn't them. Here's his explanation. This goes back to Fallout New Vegas. They plan to, which would explain a lot, but what if China nuked the U.S. 20 hours prior to Vault-Tec? Why 20 hours? Then it's because it goes, well, Mr. House says he miscalculated the Great War by 20 hours. So what if he was privy to Vault-Tec dropping bombs and 20 hours before China said, no, we're going to start this, and they beat him to the punch?
Yeah, any thoughts on that, Nate?
A lot of connection there. I mean,
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised necessarily, but I don't know. I think I'm at a point, or not at a point with the show. I think in the show, like it's fun to kind of think about these, theories and things like that. But I've already, seen enough people upset about, they're not going to do this correctly, or this is not canon, and I just, if I don't let myself look into fan theories more, I think I'll enjoy the show more.
Mm-hmm. See, as somebody as an outside perspective, I'm gonna dig deep into this because I don't know. Like I've said, I don't know shit about shit, but it's so I don't get mad about anything they're doing or not doing. Like it all looks cool to me. I'm in.
Yeah, season 1 did enough for me to be confident in what they'll do going forward, and I like to theorize a little bit, but oh, now I forget exactly what was James? Remind me of the question. I'm sorry. Because I might
Who
have had an
dropped the
answer
bombs
for you.
first?
Who dropped the bombs first? Oh, the 20-hour thing. That's what we were on. The 20-hour thing,
20-hour
the
deal.
connection.
Yeah.
Thank you. New Vegas. That is essentially House had an algorithm or something. His computers had predicted the day that the nukes would drop down to the hour, and he was off by 20 hours. So that, yeah, it probably is. Honestly, James, I think at this point it was China or Vault-Tec. I don't think it was.
I think it's two. I think it's down to
the
those two, in my
Commonwealth.
opinion.
Yeah. But I like that. Can I way to use the video games to connect a fan theory? Hey, they called me crazy for pushing a Reddit Darth Jar Jar fan theory for all these
Oh
years. But
my
look at us
God.
now, Mama. We
Oh,
made it.
Kev's on fire right now. It's sick. You got Tales of the Empire. You got Darth Jar Jar. It makes me sick. I have to deal with this every fucking week. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
One thing doing some of my research that to me as a complete outsider when watching the show, it wasn't really apparent or how important these factions are. Like, and like getting names and stuff too. Like, obviously, we heard the Brotherhood of Steel, the New California Republic, but they never mentioned the Enclave's name, I don't think, unless I missed it, and I very well could have. I didn't realize how important they were. And then there's a bunch that haven't been introduced yet. So I thought that was, as an outsider reading after the fact, I'm like, that was interesting. Is there any? I'm trying to find. There's one I had pulled up. Is there any factions, Nate, that you would want to see in the show moving forward? I have a very specific. Yeah. Harl's he's with Kev on this.
I would love to see if Kaiser or Caesar. You could see how
that's the one. The Caesars. That's the one I found. Yeah.
But I'm also reading stuff here where they kind of had a timeline sort of thing. I mean, it seems like the show has taken place 15 years after what the events of New Vegas would have been.
Yep, that's correct. Yes,
yeah. So I just don't know. Depending on what sort of ending you're picking out of the four possible ones, I just don't know that there's really any Caesar compatriots left to really have them in the show at that point.
That's who it was, and I'm trying to find a comment on it. That's the one I knew.
Shout out Harls. That's right.
Yeah. Kev, is there any factions that you want to see in season 2? As I'm trying to dig up, it was a Caesar reference.
The Great Khans, man. Yeah, give me some of the Khans out there. I wouldn't mind seeing reference to some of the smaller Vegas factions, like the Powder Gangers or the Kings, right? That have the Elvis impersonator. Those are two.
Oh, I've heard. The Kings. Yeah, I've heard of that one. The Elvis
that would be a real fun one.
A little just ridiculous.
Or the Boomers.
Yeah, the Boomers. Oh, I forgot, because they're just like this random at the end quest. Like, oh yeah, you might want to. These guys just launch bombs at everybody. You might want to go talk to them before this big war. It's such a random piece, but yeah, that's a big group if they go that route. Now what about the different casino factions, like the cannibals and all that stuff, Nate?
Yeah,
do you think they're gonna have all those?
I don't think you can have some of them if you kind of again, I've also read that this isn't supposed to be necessarily a retelling of the games, but I think depending on especially if Mr. House has a big part to play in season 2. I don't think you can really have the chairman, or at least not in a big capacity, because playing through the game, I mean, it's really just Benny that you mostly focus on or have to deal with the chairman. And yeah, they're still around after you kill him, or he gets killed, at Caesar's complex. But there isn't like a real big, like, even side quest after he's dealt with. So I don't know that he's really, the chairman would really be around. I mean, maybe the cannibals. I think that could tie in pretty well potentially. I'd hope not, because fuck those guys. No matter what, I always kill them. Clear out the whole casino.
Principle.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to. Absolutely. I kind of agree with you. They already had the ghoul be a cannibal, so that's not going to be any sort of shocking reveal, I wouldn't think, right? Not like it was for you when you were playing the game, where it's like, oh shit, this place is run by cannibals. That's wild. It's like, we've been there, done that. So something's going to end up on the cutting room floor. For me, I think it's probably one of those factions there. I'll be interested to see if if there's Yes Man or any of the Securitrons or any of that, the remnants of New Vegas. What else you got for us, James?
Speaking of remnants of New Vegas, I want to pull up this and see if you guys would like to see this place. This doesn't mean anything to me, but I'm sure it means something to you guys. I do like this giant dinosaur.
Yeah, let's go. I hope you're asking about Novak. Yeah, let's go.
Okay, I got the reactions I wanted. This is an IGN article of 14 things they want to see in season 2, and right here you've got. Let me scroll it up. Novak, which is. It's a settlement outside New Vegas. Correct me if I'm wrong. And it's got a giant T-Rex named Dinky the dinosaur.
Yeah, because you can buy you can also steal them, a whole bunch of the dinosaurs. But if I remember correctly, you can't like ever sell them, or they're not worth anything ever. But it would be fun to see. Like this is probably like one of the few non-New Vegas things in the game that's like iconic, in my opinion.
Okay, so it's important.
Yeah, I mean there's a pretty good quest that's kind of part of the main quest that you have to go through with that, and then the RepCon facility right up the road. So it would be awesome to potentially see this in the show.
I mean,
yeah, I agree.
This is world's second largest thermometer.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite places. It might be my personal favorite location, at least outside of Vegas itself, because you have Novak, which of course is named after the no vacancy sign, which
okay, got it. That makes
another
sense.
theory because of that, I've seen theories that people think Philly is a former landfill because there's just garbage everywhere, and this universe has a history of just kind of naming shit based off of what's literally right there. Yeah. So maybe Philly was a landfill. But not only do I want to see the giant dinosaur, I would love to see some sort of embodiment of Boone, I believe. Is that his name, Nate? The NCR sniper? There's actually a lookout, James. Inside that dinosaur's mouth, there's a sniper 24/7.
What?
Yep. There are two guys.
He just lives in there, huh?
No, there's a night shift and a day shift guy, and you got to talk to them each at different points. They each have their own separate side missions.
Harles,
if there's dinos, I'm in. Harles is about it. Let's go.
All right, I'm here for. They also have their gift shop. It's called a Dino Bite, so I'm really here for this.
I pulled up that same article just because I wanted to look at, because I hadn't seen it. But some of these are also interesting, like right above this one, Vault 22.
Yeah, there's a Vault 22 reference, which I don't know anything about.
I don't know how you would fit it within the show, but like that was always a interesting one to do, because you had these weird like bug human hybrid monster things that were always a fucking pain in the ass to kill
Mhm.
during the gameplay.
Kevin just shook his head. They must be real bad.
They could hide so well too, because they would just be like that, right? They're the ones that are just like
Yeah.
the plant
They
human
look just
hybrids. And they're
like
just
it.
like
Yeah.
they just blend in because everything down there is green, and so like, they'll just spring up at you out of nowhere, dude. I loved hating that vault, but that that might be a little fringe for me. I don't know. What else is on this list? I'm loving
Deathclaw.
this
Let's just
list.
start at the top and go down. Let's do it.
I think the big one, which I think we'll see probably eventually, is Deathclaws.
Yeah, you get the skull at the end of season 1, so Deathclaws are coming. We've talked about them a lot there.
I absolutely hated what was the quarry mine or whatever. Like that was always the hardest thing for me to do in the game because I'd have to load up on like missiles and grenades just to really put a dent in them. Yes, missiles. Or
they're that
I guess
fucking hard, huh?
Yeah,
Yes.
out of a yeah. So
unless
load
it's
up on
the first hour of Fallout 4 and they really want to get you to play longer, they have a really easy to kill Deathclaw in the beginning of Fallout 4 for whatever reason.
Oh, they trick you, a little hoodwink you.
Yeah.
Number 2 on this
Some
list is super mutants. We talked about this last week. We think Nate, we think what's his face?
Thaddeus
may have taken the forced evolutionary virus right here. And
yeah, Nate, what do you think about that?
It could be a super mutant.
I can see it. I mean, I really can see it. I could go either way, but I definitely probably could see them doing that. The mutants were always kind of interesting to play with, play through on some of them, like the stuff in Mount Charleston, as well as it was Black Mountain. That was where the radio stuff was.
I think so.
Or was that the night? What was the other
night? I was gonna say I'm thinking of was the Nightkin in New Vegas the one with all the stealth boys that drove them crazy? That was always one of my favorite side missions. So I hope I'm on board with this one. Give me not more. Yeah, I guess some super mutants, but I think we've already got one. I think it's out there. Although I did just realize after rewatching this, guys, we're past 3 minutes. The chicken fucker, who's also the snake oil salesman. It's funny that he has that opportunity to sell foot healing twice, because at first time it's the doctor after his foot gets blown off. I didn't realize at first that it was like I didn't make that connection until I watched it back a second time. I was like, oh god, hell yeah. A little attention to details like that and tie in that just feels very Fallout as well, because you'll have little kids that you meet in Fallout 3, that McCready, that ends up being a companion that can walk around with you as an adult in Fallout 4. So they have a lot of these little
connections back,
minor characters that weave in and out of the story.
Oh, good writing. Oh, I've never heard of that.
You sound like my college professors, James.
Right. Securitrons, we talked about them. I don't know if there's plasma weapon references.
Why can't this guy write good? Plasma weapon, kind of just what it sounds like. Just a laser-esque weapon.
I like never use those in the game, to be frankly honest with you. I was never big into energy or plasma weapons. Just good old-fashioned firearms.
Yeah, you got that.
Well, that was a fault, maybe that the original games had, or maybe not a fault, but a challenge. You had big gun skill versus small gun skill, then you had energy weapon skill. So James, you had all these. You could and then big where you guns and so you could only level up some of them. So it sounds like Nate and I did something similar. Like I probably just invested in just guns in general, and then by the time energy weapons come into play, like you're already so leveled up everywhere else. It's like, am I really going to dump a bunch of points into energy weapons now just so I can use a plasma rifle? I've got plenty of ammo. I've got everything. Now, but for the show, cool. If they can somehow do that effect where it turns the body into a mound of ash, cool. But the Fat Man, I definitely want to see.
Fat Man,
give me that season 2
mini nuke launcher.
Damn straight. Whoa. Yeah, that's right.
That's what Nate was running around with, and all those missiles. Shish kebab down here.
It's the only cure for a
Looks like
death claw
a
right
fire sword. It looks like some fucking Game of Thrones shit that didn't work.
there. Didn't they have, well, minus the fire, isn't that what she used to cut the doctor's head off?
No, she had the little mini chainsaw.
She used a ripper.
Oh, okay.
She had the little
Okay.
mini chainsaw thing. Apparently, it's a ripper. See, getting there, getting close to novice level. Level 1. Just my stats are 1 right now.
I'm telling you, dude, just buy that savant perk and you'll just randomly.
I know
level
exactly.
Up.
I'll just level up.
Just be sitting at work and chuckle randomly.
Yep.
Like, oh,
Oh well, there we go.
That's a random. What's this random Fallout fact doing in my head?
Talked about cannibalism already. Vault 22, Novak, Mr. New Vegas. That would be. Oh, that's not Mr. House. Is that somebody else?
It's the radio when you're playing.
Okay.
One of the radio stations you can have while you're going through the wasteland there.
Yep.
This next one's amazing. Give me the Mysterious Stranger.
I've got a video we're going to play here in a second on how I think they could incorporate the Mysterious Stranger. So I looked because I didn't know anything about it, but I think it'd be really cool. So I've got one saved to watch. Who's Benny?
Benny. He runs around with the Jets. He's got electric boots.
Yeah.
God dang.
Sorry, Nate. Tell him the truth.
It says untrustworthy wild card of a character.
Yeah, I mean this would have to be not his death in New Vegas is not canon.
That's what it says right there. Yep.
Yep. So to answer your question though, James, Benny is really your first antagonist in New Vegas, who becomes a secondary antagonist / vessel for you to beat the game. He's the courier that hires you. I don't know if it was he specifically that hires you, but he's the guy who kills you to start the game in the opening cutscene. And then you spend, instead of like Fallout 3 where you're chasing your dad around, this guy is the guy that you're chasing around. And unfortunately, the voice actor is no longer with us.
I just saw that.
But because of that, and also because regardless of which path you take in New Vegas, Benny kind of is done away with. Like, I just don't think I actually disagree. I don't want to see Benny in the series.
Okay.
I'd rather do without that. Maybe a reference to him of some kind, but not the actual character.
Yeah. Scroll down here. Bobby pins would just be breaking locks. Oh, here's a big one.
Yeah, they got to do the bobby pins though. Like, they already did the one touch repair. That was hilarious. Like, just have somebody really struggle.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then have somebody else walk up and in like 2 seconds just open it.
Be real easy reference.
Because it'd be a real easy reference to how important the lockpick skill is in this fucking game.
Yeah, that'd be a really easy one that you think about. The one touch fixer thing. I didn't really catch that until you explained it to me. I'm like, oh shit, I get that now.
I hope that might just be headcanon. That might be a reach for me, but I don't care. But nope. I'm reporting it as news.
The bobby pin thing was probably it's like it's not an Easter egg, but it's like an Easter egg.
Yeah,
kind of a little bit of an homage.
Last one is aliens. We talked about this last week, Nate. I wanted to get your take on this. Will they show aliens in the Fallout universe?
I'm not really sure. I mean, just imagine like radiated, conked out aliens and how that would be. That might be too much of a jump in the shark moment, personally.
Yeah, is it too much or is it just perfect?
I mean, it's the show is goofy, but that might be a little too much.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there, Nate. I think by the time they would make the move to aliens, which there are enough little side missions out there to suggest that aliens are certainly in this universe, but I think that would have to be like season 6, 7, something like. There's so many other tangible things that
need to come before
actually important to the universe and its story that I think unless they did it as some sort of spoof. I know Amazon, I just found this out in our research between last week. I didn't know that they had done radio programs, that they've, you know how Amazon likes to do that with The Boys and with Invincible. They like to flesh out these properties that they have by doing some bonus content here and there. So apparently there are some radio plays or that I need to go back and listen to. So I could maybe see them throwing the aliens as a reference in some of the supplemental material, or just making a reference to maybe like the toy ray gun, something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're going to see an alien. And if we do, I think it will be a red herring, and we'll find out that they're actually in a Halloween shop, an abandoned costume shop or something. And so it's not actually a
kind of
dead
more
alien
Easter
on the floor,
eggy
it's
than
just a
actual
costume.
being
Kinda like when we saw Caesar's
yeah.
Legion on the Hollywood set walking by, right? Could have been nothing, but to anybody who's played the game, they saw those two Legionnaires and they're like,
Yeah.
oh,
Oh,
I
shit.
wonder if that's a reference.
Nice. Okay, I'm gonna pop this. I've got a video here of how I think you could incorporate the mysterious stranger.
Ooh, you make him the ghoul. It's actually the ghoul.
No, this is perfect.
That's how they start season 2. It's just a ghoul sitting with Lucy, and he plays that guitar strum, Nate, from when you pull the pistol
minus
out.
the
Oh my god, the ghoul is a stranger. I'd be mad. I'd be so upset.
Minus the like part where like how the ghoul say or last second mysterious stranger rescue.
Assaultron, let's go. Okay, what do we?
So obviously you can't do
the way
this
I've
stuff.
had too. You know, got a hammer fisted. Oh,
Not dead. And then
got him. He saved your ass. Yeah, I mean it's exactly what he does, and then he's gone.
Yeah. What if?
Boom.
What if he just
Ex Machina
throw a teabag in there. Yeah, what if they just at some point he comes in, saves his ass, and then leave, and they never explain it? Like, just don't even acknowledge it happened.
I think if they do that, I kind of want them to. If they're gonna go that, I almost would love a tongue in cheek and have it actually be Nick Valentine, like have it be the synth that's kind of dressed like the
That we
mysterious
showed
stranger.
earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Have him do it because he's also one of the few side characters, companions that actually also sees the mysterious stranger. Like if you're playing with him as your companion and the stranger helps out in combat, it'll trigger a dialogue option with him. Well, but did you see him too?
Yeah.
I've been chasing after that guy. So I would love sort of a meta reference where you'd have
something like that. Yeah.
The synthetic person being because then it would make sense how he'd still be there all these, because we're talking a couple hundred years now. If this can't just be a regular old dude, maybe it is a secret brotherhood passed on from generation to generation.
Any thoughts on that, Nate? Probably got one last topic. Junk right there.
I don't know. To me, that's another thing. Is like, how are you? You know, I know we saw that, but to me, that's not as big of a part for the game for me. Even though I take that perk all the time, I don't know. Take it or leave it for me personally.
Yep. The last thing I have on the docket, and we talked about it a little bit last week, but are the ghoul's wife and daughter alive? And if so, where are they? Are they in 31? Are they cryo freeze? Are they somewhere else?
You know, I was wondering about that when I went through between last week and this week. One of the things that I was reminded of was his wife, when they started to fight about what they would do. She said, I want to get us into a good vault, one that manages and oversees all the other vaults. So is that possible that that's Vault 31, right? With Bud's Buds, with the whole thing, they're all management in training. Is it possible that she's maybe still frozen? Maybe she's still in 31 right now, just on ice. Wouldn't that be a way? Now, I think if that's the case, what happens is they go to Vegas. They have season 2 in Vegas, only to find out at the end of season 2 they're going to have to come home because his wife is in Vault 33 or whatever, or 31. And then season 3 is sort of a return back to the familiar and all that stuff. I could see that being a way that they go with it. But Nate, what about you? Do you think she got into a vault? I mean, the child is the wild card because we see her with him and he's a ghoul. So how did she get in a vault but not him? Was he able to get her to his ex-wife in time? Nate, you got any thoughts on that?
I'm gonna say that I don't think that they're living, just because obviously the whole good vault scenario is kind of interesting to think about it, and they lends to some credibility with the fact that a whole bunch of people from 31 have moved on to different vaults. I'm gonna say the wife is frozen, but the daughter is dead.
Ooh, yeah. Could be a little of a heated moment between the ghoul and his wife, ex-wife, if you want to believe Kev, and not a great moment.
I've seen that look. I know a divorced dad when I see one. It's in the eyes. Doesn't matter if you have a nose or not. It's all in the eyes.
Yeah, he doesn't have a nose. Yeah, I like to think that I like that like one of them's alive and one of them's dead, and that the daughter's probably the one that's dead. I do like that.
It would certainly explain the change, right? Sorry, go ahead, Nate.
I was going to say, like, just thinking about the ghoul stuff, it's kind of interesting that they, just because I don't really remember it from the game, but they added an aspect to ghouls, being able to keep their sanity and kind of fleshing out, like, how do feral ghouls come about? Because to me, that's not really, especially in New Vegas, isn't necessarily addressed as much. You got a side character, Raul, that's a ghoul, but he's pretty level-headed, kind of on straight there. But that was another observation I meant to add earlier that I really enjoyed. It's just like how in the Halloween movie series, while they may not be great, it's kind of interesting to get a backstory to Michael Myers with what Rob Zombie did. Just kind of building on that.
Yeah, I agree with the ghouls. I definitely like that new aspect to it, and to tie the two of them together, I think it's a combination of, is he going feral, or did he turn into this? I don't want to call him a piece of shit, but he's not the righteous guy that he was in the flashbacks that he seems to be all the way up until the bombs drop. He's a much different individual. And I imagine that the death of a daughter, especially in front of you, would be a catalyst for something like that. But also, if your brain is slowly rotting from the inside and you have to take a bunch of drugs just to remember your own name and not go full rabid, maybe that's what does it too. So I don't know, but I look forward to seeing more of that. I can't even call it character growth, so I'll just call it the character arc, because it's, in a way, he's kind of regressing.
Years old. Yeah, he's going the wrong direction.
Right.
He's getting way better at shooting things, but maybe his approach leaves a little to be desired.
Is there anything else you guys want to talk on? I think I hit everything. Unless Kev, do you want me to pull that picture up? Do you need to see that?
Oh, you can if you want.
Yeah,
If not,
I've got it up on my computer, so I know you.
No biggie. This was just something while we were kicking around theories for how Moldaver could be here. I saw this screenshot. I think this was from New Rock Stars. They had a video where they did a breakdown, Easter eggs for every episode. And admittedly, I didn't pay as much attention as I should have to the post-credit slides, because they were showing us some things. And right here, the Tops Hotel and Casino, that's in Vegas. Cryo Suites, book yours now. So that tells me that I don't believe that's Vault Tech. That tells me that's probably Robco. That's probably Mr. House's situation. And so it's another possibility that Moldaver, while not having access to Vault Tech, still could have had access to put herself on ice for 200 years as well. So wanted to show that one, throw that out there as a possibility. So shout out to the channel that actually caught that, but wanted to bring
Mhm.
that to you guys.
Pop that off. Yeah, I think that is, for me, that is the last thing I had on deck. Nate, did you have anything else before we start doing our send-offs here?
Uh, just hopefully you'll be an expert coming up here,
Someday I'll be an expert.
and you just
Not
need
yet.
to just go on eBay or whatever, and buy a PS4, buy New Vegas, buy all of it.
I'm gonna be deep into maybe playing 3 Fallouts at a time. I'll be playing 4 New Vegas and 76 all at the same time. You guys will never hear from me, and I'll come out with freaking Fallout tats, knowledge, lore. I'll just be the smartest one we got out there.
Yeah, just change all of his stuff. Will be just Brotherhood of Steel. Branding.
Yeah, just burn. Yeah, bro. Steel branding. Thank you to everybody that was here today. I saw Pest. I saw Harles. X-Man, who's new. Thank you guys. I just popped the Discord link in there for anybody that wants to come by. Just a lot of nerd talk, Star Wars, Fallout movies, TV shows, all that kind of stuff. That's also where you can recommend topics for this show going forward. Kev, Nate, where can these guys find you outside of here?
I'll go ahead and start. You can find me on bitesizesports.com. You can find me on Tuesdays and Sundays on the Clout Route. Shout out Pest, Charles Barkley, any of the other Crowders that have shown up. V-Dub, if you're watching later, tomorrow, whenever, appreciate you for all of your Fallout knowledge last week. We greatly appreciate that. And thank you, X-Man, for the chat as well. Carnage Media, I'm back on that, doing some play-by-play. We've got pro boxing and I believe amateur kickboxing on the same card, May the 25th. Looking forward to that. And I also have been calling football games now for the Lima Warriors. So on this Saturday, on the 18th, got another home game calling that. So the best way to keep in touch with me, honestly, just follow me on Twitter at @KevNevic_. But more importantly, click that link, join our Discord so we can share It's Always Sunny in Tatooine memes with each other. All right. That's what I am about. Nate, what are you about, and where can the folks at home find you?
Well, first of all, do you go do the road games too?
No, not right now.
Oh, I was going to say I saw that they had one in Newcastle, oddly enough.
Oh, well, maybe if I don't have another gig, maybe I'll make a trip out there. But as of right now, I'm just a home game guy.
Yeah, just a homer.
Well, but you can find me Bite Size Nate, 16th in Crawfordsville Road for the month of May. Now that it's really heating up here, and just here and there, wherever. Definitely not in Vault 22, that's for sure.
Not Vault 22, he says.
None of them. Maybe the guy with the
Nate,
puppets.
Yeah, Nate, thanks for joining us today, buddy. We appreciate you. You can catch me and Kev all the time. It seems like it's every night these days. Wednesday, 9 p.m., we'll be talking Star Wars. We're going to review Season 3 of the Bad Batch D final season. Thursdays, we're talking NBA, which, speaking of, the Celtics are playing a Donovan Mitchell-less Cavaliers tonight, so just injuries just ravaging. Playoffs, that's zero fun, even though it is only a 5-point game right now. Kev, good luck to your Pacers. They are tied to 2-2 right now. Doing better than I thought they would. Again, thank you, everybody that came by tonight. Pop the Discord link. Come join us. We've got a Twitter communities. That's Kev's baby. I don't know anything about it other than I'm in it, and I'm supporting Kev's endeavors. Please like, subscribe, share this. We're slowly growing. We did cross 100 subscribers last week. We're up to 102 right now. We're just slowly climbing our way out of the ground, out of the bottom. We finally buried that other dweeb channel in the dust. We'll never see it again. We're just going to keep growing. Yeah. So please like, subscribe, share. We will be back next week, 6 o'clock next week. It'll be more normal going forward. It'll be picking a lot of random topics and discussing the big news of the week, unless something like this comes along where we're got to, like the boys coming out in a few weeks, could absolutely just take this whole channel over. Actually, there's a lot of shows next month. There's Acolyte, The Boys, House of Dragon season 2, and there's one other really big show coming out too. So yeah, shout out Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, made 150 million this weekend. I think I haven't been to see it yet, but I can't wait to go see it. So thank you guys for watching. We'll be back next week, 6 p.m. Thanks again, Nate, for joining us, my friend.